Welcome to the Fourth and Forever podcast. This is your host, Josh Kirby, and let's get into it. So, first off, let's another week rough for me on the picks. I went 2 for 5 this week, and I want to talk about my picks first because I want to get right into talking about Sunday Night Football, and that was I had New England covering the spread, and they won. Yes, that was great. It was honestly, it was one of my favorite. It was a great game. It was a game that started off slow but really picked up in the second half. I saw that playing out that way once both teams got more comfortable and they really started just doing their things. But honestly, I think this game was more about the Patriots and the future of this franchise than it was about the Bills in the entirety. The Bills, we know how good they are. They've been undefeated up to this point. They've been having some. They had a comeback victory week 1, had some easier competition since, and then they played a division opponent today, and they finally met a team that was ready to give it to them, and it was nice. It was great to see, I think, for the Patriots and for this organization that has been, ever since Brady left, has been struggling to figure out who's taking over the reins. I mean, we've seen Brian Hoyer, Billy Zappi, and then Mac Jones, all those quarterbacks not really working out, not giving them the future they're hoping for. I mean, shout out to Mac Jones for what he's doing in San Francisco, but they found their guy. Drake May's the guy. Now, his stats I don't think jump off the page. He was 22 for 30, 273 yards, and he didn't throw a touchdown, but he didn't turn the ball over. But I think what he did this game was he always was able to put his team into key situations to be able to score. I mean, this game, they weren't running the ball well, but they were always getting good goal line stance where Ramondre Stevenson was able to take it right into the end zone. It was exactly what you want from your quarterback at times. They don't always need to throw 4 touchdowns, 300 plus yards, and look like Mr. MVP every week. You don't always need that. From a younger quarterback, especially in his second year, what you really want to see is someone that can be poised, that can put his players, his team in the position to succeed. And that's what Drake May can do. And we're seeing a lot of signs of what he can be, his athleticism. I would say he's similar. A lot of people compare him to Josh Allen. I think he's a little more comparable to Justin Herbert, where I don't think he has quite the athleticism of Josh Allen, but he definitely can scramble. He can move. I mean, we saw Justin Herbert hit a 41-yard rush today. I think that comp seems more favorable. I think Drake is a big body. He's got a big arm. He's got a lot of motivation behind him, but I don't think he's a stellar athlete. I don't see May being a top 3 quarterback in the league, but I think he has very good opportunity being a top 10, top 8, maybe top 7 guy in the league. He's got a lot of upside, and I really like it. I think the biggest thing is he has a real target. Hunter Henry's a great tight end for him, and they had a good connection last year to this year. You got a lot of other good wide receiver 2s. There'll probably be 3s on most teams, but they show up in spots here and there. But Stephon Diggs coming back to Buffalo, a game that seemed very personal to him. He started showing signs of being healthy last week, back to full strength after the ACL tear last year. But this game, I think, cemented he's back, and he's not done. He's not just going to go away. I think a lot of people were writing him off, but Diggs was able to pull out 10 receptions and 146 yards and really put this team, like I said, he didn't score, but sometimes it's not always about scoring. It's about putting your team in position. He was able to get open, get in spots, bust up coverage in the back. He was able to do everything you want your receiver to do to help open this game up. Partially with this game, though, why the Patriots win, but I can't give too much credit to them because I think they played a good game, but they didn't play a flawless game. They turned the ball over once. But I think more in the end of it was the Bills played a really rough game. Bills had 11 penalties, and they had 3 turnovers. You're not going to win the game if you have that many penalties and you turn the ball over more than the other team. It's just not going to happen. Josh Allen had trouble doing his Superman shtick. It's great. It's awesome to see more often than not. But you're playing against a team with a really good defense. And like I said, if you're going to turn the ball over 3 times, you can't expect to walk out with a victory, especially with a game with such a close margin like this one. I mean, it was overall just a great game, and it's really the showing for Drake May. This is a signature win for a young quarterback. This is something that you can take into years, like the rest of this season, rest of this year, and really build off this and be like, hey, this team was undefeated. We beat a undefeated divisional opponent, and it was because of Drake May and his performance. Like, he was the main factor. Whether, like I said, he didn't score the touchdowns, but he put you in position, and that is the key. You want to be able to look at your guy and be like, that's our guy. Whether he's going to score 4 touchdowns or none, he's going to be our guy, and that's what he is. And I think this is the start of something really nice for the Patriots. I still think I was very high on them going this season, and I was backtracking a little bit, saying maybe that I was wrong and maybe this team may not be at the place I want them to be, but I think they're figuring it out a lot quicker than I thought they would. I think they're, after a rough few weeks of them trying to figure out, okay, what is this, what we do right, what do we like, I think it's all starting to click, and this is a great game for it to click towards. And now the AFC is really wide open when it comes to the wild card position. I think you got 3 teams that are very set, maybe 4 teams. I would say after this Sunday, maybe only 3 teams really set in prime position to make the playoffs. I mean, I think the Bills are going to win their division even after this one. I think they're such a good team. There's no reason to think they won't bounce back from this loss. I think the Colts have put themselves in that upper echelon of the AFC right now after another great win and great performance. They're really setting themselves up for victory long term. And you got to say the Chiefs, because it's Patrick Mahomes, it's Andy Reid. You can't count them out. Outside of those 3 teams, I mean, all the other teams, it's like, yeah, the Steelers look good now, but we already know how the Steelers look and how they're going to look later throughout the season. Older quarterbacks tend to fall off a little closer near the end of the season. We don't know what the Ravens are. I'll talk more about them later, but we really don't know what they are right now. Texans, I mean, they got 2 wins, but they beat a bad Titans team, and hate to say it, sad to say it, but they beat a bad Ravens team. So what are they? Chargers just lost the game, and they're getting decimated with injuries on that O-line, and that is such a sturdy implement of what this team needs. They need a good offensive line to keep the quarterback upright and just create a run game. If they don't have a healthy, productive offensive line, it really shows some cracks on this team. And I think they lost to a team that they do outmatch. They outmatch the Commanders. They have, I think, more talent. I think they are a better coached team. They are I think, the better team. But when your offensive line is getting decimated with injuries, it's a lot harder to compete against these teams that still have a phenomenal quarterback, and they do have a really good head coach that knows the defense. So it's like the AFC really is wide open. I mean, the Broncos got a good win today, but I'll talk more about them later. But their ceiling, I think we've all kind of seen what their ceiling is. I think that game was their ceiling, and it was a good thing, is a bad thing, we don't know. But the AFC is wide open, so the Patriots are really hone in on what they can take away from this game and take that moving forward. But shout out to them for helping me get at least 2 out of 5 on my picks, because it's rough. It's rough trying to pick games. I didn't think it would be this rough. I've seen so many announcers and broadcasters and analysts do it, and I'm like, man, I think I could do this. I just got to pick 5 games. Nah, ain't that easy, because you never know what's going to happen. Transitioning, you never know what's going to happen. I had 3 games that I thought were locks. Did not work out. Let me get into the other game that I cleared on. It was the Cowboys and the Jets. Jets fall to 0-5. Not much to say about this. I liked Aaron Glenn. I thought he was coming into a rough situation where his team was so dysfunctional. The ownership, GM, it was all dysfunctional. They have good talent, but I don't think they have. I don't know what this team is, and I don't think they know what this team is, and I think that's really bad when it's already 5 games in and you're just like you're bailing water. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, this is a sinking ship again. It's sad, I think, being a Jets fan. I'm glad I'm not. I would be very disappointed if I was. I mean, it's disappointing as a Ravens fan, but at least we got Lamar Jackson. At least we've had success recently, and this is something that even at the darkest of times, we have some hope to grasp onto in different aspects of our organization. But the Jets don't have that. They really don't have that that glimmer of hope that they can just latch onto and be like, hey, we know we can ride out this ship. We may have lost 5 games, but doesn't mean we're going to end the season as the worst team in football. Well, at this point, it looks like it just might be that because two of the teams that I thought were the worst teams in football both got their first wins. So that transitions me to first, the Arizona Cardinals played the Tennessee Titans. Now, I'm going to be very clear about this. I am not going to talk down about the Titans too much. They got the win. They walked out with a victory. You get credit for that. But I don't think this was not a signature win. This is not something you hold your hat on. This was the first win for Cam Ward in his young career, and I think he will have more wins to come as this team starts building pieces around him. But this is not something you don't walk around in pride with this win. This was Arizona throwing the game away. I don't know what they were planning. They were up, I think it was 21-6, and they just, every chance they got, they said, here you guys go. Stay in it. Keep going. Keep fighting. They don't want it. Like, this is the fear about the Cardinals that I think every analyst has every season. Is the Cardinals, they come in, they start hot, and you're like, man, Kyler's one of the most exciting quarterbacks out there. Man, Martin Harrison Jr., this looks great. Trey McBride, great. The run game, I mean, even with losing Connor and Benson, didn't look awful. I mean, the defense seems relatively well coached, but it's the same Cardinals that it's been since Kyler's been there. And I don't understand what the disconnect is there. I keep saying this. Maybe Kyler needs to change the scenery, and maybe Cardinals, a divorce might be a better thing for this team. I'm not sure. But, I mean, the play that stood out to me the most, that exemplified exactly what this game was it was near the end of the game. Titans were driving, and Cam Ward threw, I wouldn't say a bad ball, but it wasn't pretty, and the Cardinals defender intercepted it. And I would say a pretty impressive play. Well, while he was intercepting the ball, he decided to fumble the interception. And I know I'm not in the in-game scenario, so I don't know how hard it is to fall on a fumble when it's there. But I do know every coach preaches the same thing because you hear it all the time. That when a ball is out from a fumble, you dive on it, you grab it, and you just hold it. You don't try to make a play. You don't pick it up. You want to fall on it first. That you want to secure it. Because if you don't secure it, then what happened in this game, they start kicking and pushing and sliding the ball. And then Mr. Hero that we haven't talked about all season, Tyler Lockett, recovers the ball in the end zone, giving the Titans now a touchdown. The Cardinals had a point to seal the game with an interception and a bad play, just a bad set of circumstances. The Titans put Titans right back into it and were able to set up to win the game. That was just such a bad move. That's just a bad play. That was just a bad sequence. That was the definition of this game. That sequence right there defined what this game was, and it was ugly. It was bad, and I think I'm now after seeing this game, I'm pretty sturdy on the Cardinals. They're the worst team in their division. They're not going to make the playoffs. Any hope we had, like all the hope I was trying to feed into them, even if I was a little skeptical, they've proven to be the same Cardinals from last year and the year before and the year before that. So not much more to say about this game. I still have the same opinion about Cam Ward. I think he can play, but how good is he? It's hard to determine when you just don't have anything around you. Your team is just not good. So let's see what goes there. Next, Giants at the Saints. This was a game I had the Giants winning, but I think I should have saw the momentum ball coming. The Saints pulled out a victory. So before I say anything else, I do want to apologize to the Saints fans. I said you guys wouldn't win a game this season, and you guys won a game. Now, I don't know if you'll win many more. Maybe you can beat the Panthers or the Falcons at one point. Maybe. I don't know. But I wasn't high on you guys coming into the season, and I still don't think this victory is impressive, in my opinion. I think the Giants really, really beat themselves. I think last week you saw the highs of Jackson Dart, and I think this week you saw the lows of Jackson Dart. You see the stuff that really needs to be coached out. You can see the stuff that without playing experience in the NFL really hurt him this game. It was like the turnovers, the poor decisions. I mean, I think he was a fighter. He was a grinder. He was trying to keep them in it the whole game, but the game just got away from them. The game it started speeding up, and you could just see he wasn't moving at the same speed the game was moving, and that's something that it's a transition to the NFL. It's only his second start. We can't expect greatness in 2 games. Not every quarterback pops like that. So I think it's a season-long thing to see where he goes. But I still like Dart. I think he's still a great quarterback. But it really is. We just got to see how he's going to progress throughout the season. But I think this is a great learning point for him. This is a good game where he can review back and see some of the mistakes he's made. I mean, a good coaching staff will pull him aside. We'll have them watch film and really break down this game, because a loss as they always say, you learn more through a loss than you do through a win, and he has a lot of lessons he can learn from this game. So I think it's actually really good for the Giants. As for the Saints, I still don't think the Saints are a good team. I still don't think they're going to beat any good teams. I think they have beaten the Giants, so the Giants aren't a good team. I think they can beat teams like maybe the Titans or the Panthers. I think they have a chance to win a few more games than I would have before predicted, just because I think they have a quarterback. Now, I don't know if Spencer Rattler is a starting quarterback. I mean, he's played 10 NFL games and he's only won 1. Part of being a franchise quarterback is winning. Winning is a big part of it. It's the reason why Jalen Hurts gets so much praise. Is Jalen Hurts doesn't always look like the best quarterback on the field. He doesn't look like always the best player on his team, but he knows how to win. And winning gets you far in this league. Winning gets you very far in this league. You can be, I mean, look at it. Like, Andy Dalton wasn't a extremely talented quarterback in Cincinnati, but he took him to the playoffs a couple times. He could win. He could win 10-plus games with whatever roster they gave him. That stuff matters. That stuff really matters. Winning is so important. But Spencer Rattler, I think, this season has proven, if he's not a franchise quarterback, because I don't know if he is. I don't think he is. I think just from the eye test, I think he's just not. He doesn't have that next level to him. But he's given himself the foundation to have a 10-plus year career in the NFL. I think he very much could be a journeyman in this league, bouncing from team to team, starting a little bit, being a backup. I think he's got all the potential to give himself a long-term career. Now, he's still young. It's still early. Maybe he can progress into the Saints franchise quarterback, but I just don't believe and don't think that's the case. But he's set himself up and put himself in a position to do that, which is incredible. I think that's the bare minimum you want in this league from your quarterback. You want to be able to put them in a position. He wants to be able to put himself in the position where he always will have a job, and he will. I think he will always have a job in this league for a good amount of time, because he's proven he's just good enough. And he's got his first win. The Saints got their first win this season, so shout out to them. Really don't want to talk much more about that game. I think, once again, it's another 2 teams like Titans, Arizona, teams that just aren't long-term aren't going to be an issue this season. They might have an upset win here and there, but I don't think any of these teams are playoff contenders at all. Well, let's get to my next point, though, is the Niners and Rams. That was my last pick. It was my first loss of the week. The Niners pulled it out over the Rams. The injury-ridden Niners, pulled it out with supposedly a bad quarterback in Mac Jones, which has just changed his narrative with another stellar performance. They have now won 3 games with Mac Jones at the quarterback position. Most people say that your quarterback should win you with however many games they play. You want them to win about 50% of your games. At least that's my opinion. Some analysts out there say if your backup quarterback can just win you 1 game, that's pretty good. Yeah, or what was it? I think it's John Middlecoff. His phrase is, if they can win 1 game, then it's worth the paycheck. If he wins more than 1 game, then he's being underpaid. Something like that. But that's what this is. Mac Jones has, I think, played himself into a position where he has a established career as an NFL quarterback. I mean, this type of performance is the high of what a backup quarterback can do. And this is stuff that Spencer Rattler can look at and be like, hey, Mac Jones was tossed to the side and he was not deemed a franchise quarterback. But yet he is always, because of a performance like this and his stretch he's done in the Niners, he will always have a job. because he can. Oh, that is an upside. It's like playing at that position. You have an upside. You always have a job in the NFL. This job this could give him a real shot next year at being a starting quarterback somewhere else. You don't think the Raiders are looking at what Mac Jones is doing and thinking, damn, after Geno threw his 9th pick on the season, you don't think they're thinking, man, we Mac Jones wouldn't look so bad in black and silver. I mean, you don't think the Saints are like, man, we got Rattler, but Mac Jones was looking a little better than Rattler. Maybe he can come in. You don't think they're thinking that? I mean, there's so many teams out there that I think still are looking for their franchise quarterback, and this is a guy that I don't think Mac Jones is a franchise quarterback, but he's a guy that if you put the weapons around him, he can progress, he can perform. He's a guy that he definitely he knows a thing or two. I mean, the Jets I think are a dumpster fire, and I don't think any quarterback should willingly go there. But they might look at Mac Jones and be like, hey, that might be an upgrade from Justin Fields. Excuse me. So that's all I can say about the Niners. I'm not really sure what this team is. I think they got a nice gritty win, but I think this win says more about Mac Jones specifically and the coaching ability of Kyle Shanahan. And on the other side, it says a lot about what the Rams lack. And I think I've mentioned it before, and I will mention it again. They need to go get, I don't know if it's a safety, if it's a corner, or what they got to do, but the liability of that back end of the defense is really bad. Like, it's really, really bad. These are two teams that I think both can't make the playoffs. This is why I think this game is so huge, and the next game they play is even bigger, because these are two teams that I think one of them will knock the other one out of the playoffs. Being the NFC, I think is a way more competitive than the AFC right now. I think you have a lot more teams in the NFC that are more primed in positions to make the playoffs. I mean, you got one division in the NFC North where you got 3 potential playoff teams. You got the NFC West when you have potentially, some would say 3 potential playoff teams. You got the NFC East where some people would say you have potential 3 playoff teams. I mean, not all those teams can make the playoffs. And they're going to be these teams that are more in that middle realm, which is like, I would say right now at the moment, it's the Rams, the Niners, the Commanders, the Cowboys, the Vikings. They're in that middle realm where they have a lot of upside, but they also they have some glaring flaws. They each have a glaring issue going forward. Is like, how are they going to progress? And if they can't figure it out, one of these other teams that figure it out are going to make sure they have their playoff spot. So these are two teams that really need to focus on what they want long term this season, especially the Niners. I mean, Niners got Brock Purdy coming back, and they're probably going to get Kittle back at some point, and Pearsall's not going to be out forever. So you're still going to have a good amount of your unit coming back and getting together, and you can get healthier. And the thing is, the Rams, it's not about health. For the Niners, it's about health. They get healthy, they could really get rolling. For the Rams, it's about liability on the back end. It's about utilizing that trade deadline, which they're really good at, and bringing in a component that can really bolster up that defense. I mean, what's stopping them from calling Carolina and said, hey, y'all got J.C. Horn. Y'all ain't making the playoffs. You guys want to pay him again? We'll take him on. We'll take part of that contract. Like, what's stopping them? That would be a really good move. It would really add a good key corner. He could at least match up with the opposing wide receiver one and really put them in a better advantage in this game. Because I think you've found out how to beat the Rams now. You go over top. You go over the top and you eat them alive through the passing game. That's how you beat them, and that is really going to be rough on them. So those were my failed picks for the week. I think that was a tragedy. I'm going to transit for 2 and 5. I'm going to transition to another tragedy. Ravens Texans. Now, before I get into this game and I say some very horrible things about my team that I love so much, and I want to just take a moment and give acknowledgement to the passing of Arthur Jones. Brother John Jones and Chandler Jones, he was a Raven during the Super Bowl run in 2012 that I grew up watching. I actually, when I was a little kid during that run, I went to a Ravens training camp prior to that season, and I got a little football, and I had to get some players to sign it, and one of those that signed my football was Arthur Jones. So it was just really, really nice guy, and it's very sad whenever someone passes away, especially someone that hasn't even, I think, hit the full span of his life yet. So I just want to take a moment and just acknowledge that and hope that, wish the best for his family, and it's just sad. Things like that is like, it's always tragic. I mean, we've already lost Saragusa not too long ago, Jacoby Jones recently. It's always very, very sad seeing former players that you played, especially the ones I grew up watching, passing on. It's it's a sad part of the game when you see these people. You really connect with these athletes, and then the tragedy of just life happening, whether it was uh, outside cause or an own inner struggle. Either way, it's this moments like this. That's why you should always cherish and check on the people in your life that you really love and care about, and make sure they're okay. It's important. It really is. But uh, I know that's a little somber note, but on that, let's transition into the actual game. So first, let me talk about the Texans before I talk about my Ravens. I don't know what to say about the Texans. You beat up on a bad Titans team. You beat up on a bad Ravens team. So are you good? Are you not good? I think you're finding out this offense a little bit. I think you're flowing a little more, but this Ravens team is the worst I've seen in years. So we haven't had a team this bad in a while. So I don't think you should hold your hat high on this. And the Colts are running your division right now. I think that Texans have a lot of false confidence after these two games and think they're better than what they are, but they're not. This is a team I had balling out this season. I mean, I had them winning their division and being a formidable force in the AFC, and they don't look that way even after this dominant victory. It's like let me explain. I'll talk about what the Ravens did, and then it will really put in perspective what team the Texans were going against. Because this isn't the Ravens that I grew up watching. I ran into last week that this wasn't the Ravens that Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and Terrell Suggs and Nada and Saragusa and Ogden and all these guys put together on offense and defense. This is not that team. In franchise history, in the first 5 weeks, we have never given up this many points through 5 weeks of football. This ties the biggest loss we've ever had in our team history. And I think the questions don't stop. And I think that's what frustrates me so much about this team. It's typically when you lose, you can learn a lot from losing, but I don't know what to learn here. I don't know what is the problem. I think everyone's asking, what is the issue here with this team? I know we're injured, but I don't give a damn about injuries when I watch the Niners team, who are throwing out their wide receiver 3 and 4. No, hold on. Their wide receivers 4 and 5 because Ayuk, Pearsall, and Jennings were hurt. So they're throwing out backups. Like they're just throwing out anyone that they were just picking up people and say, hey, here you go play. Like, what are we doing? We drafted most of the guys that are out there playing, so we looked at these talents. Our offense isn't decimated. Our line is not terrible. I hate the perception that we have a bad offensive line, and I mean, they're bringing it upon themselves, but they're not bad. I mean, Stanley may be banged up, but overall, this is not a bad offensive line. Like, it's not. This offense isn't bad. You got DeAndre Hopkins, who made a great play. Mark Andrews had a little miscue, but it was honestly a bad ball. I mean, Cooper Rush is just bad. 3 interceptions, and he just looked horrid. I mean, Zay Flowers was trying to do his thing, but he wasn't. Nothing on offense could get going. And I have to say, one of the most brutal questions we have to ask is, what's wrong with Derrick Henry? We watched him in the first few games of the season, and he really, I mean, even with the fumbles, I mean, he wasn't looking like this. He don't look good at all. He's not hitting the holes the same. He's not breaking tackles. I don't know if the fumbles are so in his head that he's too worried about them, or if maybe it's just all them years of being pounding, aggressive, heavy, being a back, dominating games for Tennessee, and then dominating last year for us. Maybe it all is catching up to him finally. Maybe, I don't want to say the word, but you know what it is. I don't want to say maybe but I don't want to say it. But it is concerning. It's very concerning. Because me, as a Ravens fan, I'm a hopeful guy. I think we can win every game. And I went into this game thinking, you know what? Texans aren't a great team. They have a good defense, but they aren't a great team. Derrick Henry has proven that he can put a struggling offense on his back and dominate. I had Derrick Henry running for over 100 yards, a couple touchdowns, and really establishing, even if we lose the game, showing that we have fight in us. But we had no fight. We had nothing. We looked awful. We missed a field goal. There's 3 interceptions. Henry couldn't put up 40 yards. I mean, my dad told me going to this game, he's like, I don't think Henry rushes for 40 yards. I thought he was being disrespectful. I was taken back. I didn't like that. I was like, nah, Dad. I was like, he can rush over 90 yards this game. He's got this. I mean, this Texans defense is no slouch, and I wasn't saying anything about the Texans defense. I think they're great. But I'm like, it's Derrick Henry. We've seen what he can do. 33 yards. Yeah, he scored a touchdown. It don't mean shit. I'm sorry, it doesn't. When you lose by that many points, I don't care that you scored 1 touchdown for 33 yards. I'm sorry, I don't care. That's not winning football. That's not elite playing. And I don't want to crap all over Henry because I loved the addition of him last year, and I have a lot of hope that he can get it together, but you're not looking the same, and it's really, man, it don't look good. So, is Henry the only problem? No. This defense was bad. Real bad. We still can't get a pass rush. Guys can't cover for shit. Like, is Zach Orr the problem? I mean, Van Noy and Kyle Hamilton, all these players are coming out defending Zach Orr. All these players are coming out and saying, we're just not executing. We're just not executing. We're just not executing. Well, why the hell are you not executing? Why? What is the disconnect between the play call and the on-field production? Because we didn't have that problem last year. I mean, we struggled a little bit in the beginning of the season, but we figured it out quick by just one move. We dropped Hamilton back into coverage a little more, and we were one of the best defenses in football. Even when all of our guys come back and we get all of our elite Pro Bowl, all-pro talent back after injuries, which we should after the bye week, we should have almost everyone back except for Matabike, but everyone else should be back. But what's the problem? Like, if you don't want to blame the coach, and I get it, loyalty, Zach Orr was Baltimore, we drafted him, he was an all-pro here, had to retire because of a bad neck injury, but we gave him an opportunity on the staff, and he's done, I think, an excellent job. And so if you don't want to blame him and the players want to take a blame, then what do we do about that? If Van Noy is coming out and saying we're just not executing, then what do we do? Why are you not executing? Why are you, as a veteran, saying that your team is not executing? It seems like a bunch of just excuses. And Harbaugh said he's sticking with Zach Orr again. So there's a disconnect here. There's something that is not transitioning. So does that lead it to believe, is Harbaugh the problem? And this has been the biggest struggle for me talking about this team. And I think everyone listening knows this. I've talked about, I grew up, Harbaugh is my coach. Like, he's when I was getting into football, he was the guy. I mean, I love John Harbaugh. I mean, I think all of us Ravens fans love John Harbaugh. Even if we're angry right now, I don't think we're angry because we think he's a bad coach. I think we're angry because we're playing really bad. We're not playing the brand of Baltimore football that we all know and love. And we're getting the same old presser every week. I mean, Harbaugh comes up and he's like, yeah, guys, disappointed. We're not executing. We're turning the ball over. We're not stopping them. We gotta get to work and look at film, and we'll see where we go from there. And I'm sticking with the DC. That's what we're getting every week. You can't keep saying the same things and expect us fans to just be okay with it. You can't. Harbs, I love you, man. I really, really am going to be devastated if you lose your job, because it's not easy. I mean, as a fan of this team, even watching Joe go and watching Ray retire and watching all these players leave and go do things and coaches leave, and it's hard because you love your team so much. You feel connected to everyone a part of this organization as a fan. This city bleeds black and purple so heavily. We love our sports team. We love the Ravens. But we love our brand of football, not what we're putting out there each and every week. This isn't what we do. And this is not what we've established over 30 years. This is our 30th anniversary, and we are shooting ourselves in the foot. It's like, like I said, what is the disconnect? Do the players just not believe in Harbaugh anymore? Is that it? Is that the problem? I mean, if that's the problem, and I have to be unbiased and I have to stand with my point. I said that the Dolphins don't believe in Mike McDaniel anymore. They had a weird game today with the Panthers. They don't believe in him. We all know it. And I said, if you don't believe in him, you got to let him go because the culture is lost and you need to reestablish the culture. So if I got to stay consistent, if the Ravens players don't believe in Harbaugh anymore, if Harbaugh is losing the culture of the Ravens, if he is not helping establish what we are, then out of consistency for me just trying to prove that I know what I'm talking about, then maybe it's time to move on from Harbaugh. Now, I don't know what that means for us. I don't think Monken wants to be head coach. I definitely don't think if we move on from Harbaugh that Zach Orr is going to keep his job or get promoted. So what would be next for us? I mean, you got Jesse Minter over in L.A. You got Clint Kubiak in Seattle. You got some guys here and there. I mean, will we give Robert Saleh a call to fix our defense? Maybe, but I really don't think. I think the Jets have proven what he is as a head coach, and I don't know if he's going to be great. Honestly, if we're going to bring in any defensive head coach, if it's not Jesse Minter, I think the one man that would really establish a great culture and could really work with the players and the defense that we have, Brian Flores, would be a great option. I think he would definitely be someone in a good position as a head coach. But it's also, does Monken stay on the staff? It's like, that's why I don't, by firing or even talking about firing Harbaugh, I mean, I'm like, once again, I'm just going to be clear. I don't think we'll fire him. I think it'll be a mutual separation because this organization has so much respect for John. I don't think we would just outright fire him. I just think it would be very disrespectful after what he's put towards this organization. It would be a mutual split, which, quote unquote, being mutual, I don't think. I think it's going to be more of a, hey, John, this is what we're doing. Let's leave respectfully. But I think by doing that, though, it leaves more questions than answers in the future. Like, I think this team is full of questions, and it's nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking when you see the competition in the AFC is starting to take form, and we need to get it together. Now, I still am a believer that the next game we play against the Rams is going to be a rough game. We're going to probably end up 1-5 going to the bye week, which is not good. It's not something I look forward to. But hey, there was a team that started with the season 1-5 a couple years ago, San Francisco 49ers, and they made the playoffs. I remember that. People counted them out. People said, what was wrong with them? They had injuries. The culture seemed confused. But they figured it out. So once we get Lamar back, we get Roquan, Humphrey, Hamilton back, we get this team start rolling again. We got a good schedule after this. I don't know the order exactly, but I know we play the Bears, we play the Dolphins, we play the Vikings. We still play the Bengals twice, which they don't have Joe Burrow. And I'm about to talk about that team. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to talk about that team in a moment. We got the Steelers one more time, actually two more times. We got the Steelers two more times, see how that's going to work out. We got the Browns one more time. We got the Patriots and the Packers, two could be potentially tough games. But overall, I think our schedule really, if we could squeak out a 10-7 or an 11-6 season, we'll make the playoffs. Now, is this a team that makes the playoffs as a competitor or a team that makes the playoffs just by strength of schedule not being as tough on the back end? I don't know. But we got the Rams next week, and then we got our bye week. I don't see us beating the Rams, even with their liability on DBs. I don't see us beating the Rams. So I see us possibly going 1-5 into the bye week. There need to be changes at that point. That bye week, if we don't come out on the other side of that, as a team that I grew up rooting for and loving and supporting unconditionally, then it's got to be conditional. And it's going to be conditional on what are we going to do with Harbaugh? Because that is the question. That is because if I can't find the problem anywhere else, that's the problem. And I can't say blame it all on the defensive coordinator and Zach Orr because Harbaugh's sticking with him. And if you know that he is not doing a good job and that he is the problem, and you're sticking by him, then we got to cut our losses, and you are going to be part of those cuts. And Harbaugh, I love you. So I'm begging you to get it together because I don't want to see you get your pink slip and you be on your way. I don't want to see it. But if it's destined to happen, then I wish you luck. But hey, I don't want it to happen. So my message to Harbaugh is get this together so we can get Lamar his Super Bowl and we can bring winning championship football back to Baltimore. But that's enough said on that. I don't want to. This is, like I said, it's a football podcast, not a Ravens podcast, so I don't want to spend too much time with them. I do want to give a quick shout out to the Lions in their game. This is the 14th time yesterday that David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs both scored in the game. That's crazy. I don't know if that's an NFL record or for running backs or what, but that's impressive. This Lions team is rolling. I'm probably going to wait until after the Monday night game. I'm recording this on Monday, so I'm going to wait until after the Chiefs game to do my top 10 rankings because I think the Chiefs' performance tonight will really determine their positioning, which will allow me to determine other teams. But I probably have the Lions as the best team in football right now. I think after another dominant performance, I can't help but put them there. But I want to talk about the Bengals just real quick. Just what are you doing? Bengals, what are you doing? You just put all this money into your offense, and you're saying, yeah, let's go throw out Jake Browning, who throws pick after bad performance after bad performance, and you're just like, we're just gonna roll with this. Burrow is hurt, we'll throw away the season. Like, I'm sorry, but what hope are you giving your friend? I know your defense isn't great, but your offense isn't terrible. I mean, we saw when things started to get going that Jamar Chase can still ball, T. Higgins can still ball. You have components, but you're not competitive because you're putting out a quarterback that's just not as good as not only not your starter, but other backups in the league. I know maybe it's not the best decision, but call Kirk Cousins or call the Falcons about Kirk Cousins. The Chiefs got Gardner Minshew sitting back there. You think Gardner wouldn't want to start for the season? The Giants have two quarterbacks sitting on the bench. And no matter how bad Dart plays, Dart's not getting benched. Dart's playing all season. Bring in Russ or bring in Winston. I bring in Winston over Russ, but I think they'd be more willing to ship off Russ than Winston. But give your team some hope, even though I'm not a big fan of Russ, and I don't think that's anything. But show your fans that that Burrow isn't your be all end all. Like the Ravens went out and signed Cooper Rush, even though he played horrible. But we went out and signed him because he was a really good backup for the Cowboys. We signed him in case of emergency like this. Now he did not look good, and sometimes it just works out that way. But at least I knew that why we were doing that decision, and we were doing it for a good reason. So I don't know, Bengals fans, you really gotta figure out what you are representing for this for your fans, because if it's like, oh, Burrow's out, season's over, that's how coaches get fired, that's how GMs get fired, and that's how an organization turns upside down on its head. And eventually, Joe Burrow is going to pull Carson Palmer and says, I want out of here. I don't want to be part of an organization that is so reliant on me that the moment I get hurt and need to recover, that this whole season's lost. And now you've just overspent. I mean, you wasted Trey Hendrickson. You gave him a 1-year deal. Remember that. You gave him a 1-year deal. He's gone. He's not re-signing. He's gone. I would guarantee that. And then you overpaid both your receivers. You have no money. So it's even when Burrow comes back next year to whatever form he is, hopefully he don't get hurt again. Now you guys are back in trying to. Can we have a bad defense and a very expensive offense? I feel like you need to do something to give this team a little hope. I mean, hell, you really think the Giants, you couldn't send a 6th-round pick to the Giants for Russell Wilson and just have Russ start a few games? Like I said, even if he's bad, at least you're showing that you're willing to try something, because right now with the way the Ravens are playing and the Browns aren't great. I mean, shout out Dylan Gabriel, who I think had a really good showing for his first game. I mean, they didn't win, but you don't always need a win to look good. I think he had a really good first start, and that's something that they can work with throughout the season. But like I said, it's you have a division, you have an AFC that's so rough, and you have a team. I mean, it's not like you have more than one win. You're not winless. You have 2 wins. You're 2-3. That's not bad. Put it to do something to give your fans something. So who knows what they're going to do, but if you're going to keep putting Browning out there, you might as well just throw away the season. Next, I want to talk about the Eagles-Broncos game. Not much to say about this game. I think there's 2 huge takeaways I took from this game. One, the Eagles don't play 4 quarters of football. It's has not bit them in the ass yet, or up until yesterday, didn't bite them in the ass. They played a terrible first half against the Rams, and then came out and made all the plays they needed to in the second half against them and won. They played a really good first half against the Bucks and played a horrible second half and almost lost that game. And in this game, they played a really good first half, and then once again, they just disappear. They can't get the ball. Hurts and A.J. Brown just have no connection anymore. That's dead. I think if they don't trade A.J. Brown and look into getting some value for him, why they can. I mean, hell, they have more value to trade him than I do in fantasy football. Trust me. I have asked in every league, does anyone want Brown? And it's a no, because they're not utilizing him. But the thing is, luckily, even with lack of production, he's still super valuable in the NFL. Maybe not in fantasy, but in the NFL, he's very valuable. So, trade him. Get some trade value. You're clearly not. You're using Dotson more than you're using Brown. And Dotson was given to you by the Commanders. Your own division team gave him to you. Saquon, I mean, he looks like last season really took a toll on him, because throughout the game, he can make big plays, but throughout a 4-quarter of football game, he progressively seemingly gets tired, worse. I don't know what you want to call it. It's rough. And then you watch his team. It's just like, what? It's a team that's been winning ugly all year. They lost ugly today, and it's a team. I think the Eagles will still win their division, just because I think overall they're the best team in their division, whether they're going to win ugly or not. They're a team that won't lose too many games. I didn't have them losing many games this season. I still had them winning like 14 games. I think they win 13, 14 games pretty easily. I think they're just on a different playing field than a lot of other teams. But you met a team with a good defense and a really special head coach with Sean Payton. And that gets me to the Broncos, that this Broncos will only go as far as Bo Nix can take them, because that is their ceiling, and they have an obvious ceiling. And this defense is really good. The coaching is phenomenal. But how good is Bo Nix? I think we've all seen how good he is. He's going to be good enough to win you games, but he needs the pieces around him, and that including his defense, to step up and put them in good positions to win. This is a team that I think I wouldn't be surprised if they win 10 games and make the playoffs, or they win 10 games and miss the playoffs. The Broncos, it's hard to gauge them comparative to a lot of other teams, because I don't know if there's quite a team like them right now, because I don't love their quarterback, but I love their coach. I don't love their offensive pieces, but I love their defense. I think it's an overall team that, like I said, their ceiling is not as high as they would like it, but they were able to beat the Eagles, and that's a good win you can put on your belt. And this is a team that you really got to see the rest of the season where it's going to play out and how they're going to perform. And then as for the Eagles, like I said, the playoffs is really going to judge what this team is. Are they going to be one and done in the playoffs, or are they going to make another sick run? So I look forward to seeing how both these teams turn out the rest of the season. Now, before I get into the best game on Sunday, I want to just make some quick notes. I already talked about Dylan Gabriel and some other things I want to talk about. But first, I want to give a shout out to Keenan Allen. He hit 1,000 career receptions. Congrats on a great career he's had. Hopefully to keep seeing him progress this season and for the next few years. Hopefully phenomenal. Shout out to him. I want to shout out Jonathan Taylor, who I've been saying, him and Puka Nacua, I think are really competing for Offensive Player of the Year. He had a 3-touchdown game. I want to make sure he gets his flowers. We'll talk about the Commanders. Just a quick notch. They're 3-2, but they're a rough 3-2. It's a team that I think desperately needs another offseason to get their pieces right. I think their rookie running back is finally performing, but I still don't love. I think Debo looks great, but I don't think he's a game changer at times. I also think he's not, like, you need Terry back. You really need Terry back. I think it's going to really help open it up. You beat a Chargers team that is decimated with injuries. I think that's what's really that contrast of that game. Let me just talk about this game real quick. Chargers is decimated with injuries on the offensive line. That's how this whole team is established and works. Yeah, it's bad. They can't, if they don't start putting wins together and figuring out what they're going to do with this offensive line falling apart, and they're going to go from possibly winning this division to maybe not making the playoffs. This is not good. Really not good. So the Chiefs are now figuring it out. Chargers need to take a step back and look at themselves and be like, hey, this isn't the brand of football we are playing. This is not who we are. And they need to fix it, hopefully get some guys back. Hopefully Alt will be healthy soon, and hopefully Mekhi Becton can stay on the field, and hopefully they can figure it out, because they desperately need to figure it out. While on the Commanders, they just need pieces. I think they're just a team that just doesn't have enough guys, and I think when you enter the playoffs and you're playing against teams that are going to be so much better than you, you just ain't got a shot. Next, quick shout out to the Vikings. I think they're back to form. They looked I don't think they looked great, but they looked good. I think the team that is a fringe playoff team, I think if they make the playoffs, I would be a little shocked, but I wouldn't be blown away by that, a fact. But if they miss the playoffs, it wouldn't shock me either. So I just kind of see where they are at. I'm really more curious to see what they're going to do when J.J. McCarthy is healthy and how that's going to progress. And then finally, shout out to Darren Waller. He was out of football last year. He really didn't do much with the Giants. He had a really good performance. I think it was Monday night, and then now come back here Sunday. He had a really good performance this Sunday. He's a guy that I think is looking like he did with the Raiders, and I just want to make sure he gets a little bit of credit, because who knows how long it's going to last. Hopefully last all season. I'd be very happy for him, but seems like a really good guy, and he's a good role model, I think, for the NFL, someone that dealt with a lot of struggles in his personal life, and it really affected him on the field early in his career, and he was able to figure it out, get sober, and really get his head on straight, and it's very impressive, and I wish him the best, and I just want to give him the shout out, because he came back and he's looking really good, so good for him. Now, before I end the podcast, the last thing I want to talk about is the best game from Sunday. I wanted to say this for last, because this was just, I know there was a lot of somberness with the Ravens and other teams. I think there was a lot of bad games. I mean, the 1 o'clock games were just mostly bad. I mean, the best game on the 1 o'clock game was the Dolphins and Panthers. And if you notice, I didn't talk much about that game, because both teams aren't making the playoffs. Both teams aren't good teams. But it was a competitive game. But the best game, the single best game of Sunday, probably, in my opinion, one of my favorite games of the year so far, was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Seattle Seahawks. Two teams that I've been high on. Players on both sides I've been high on. I love this game, and I watch this game as a pure spectator. I mean, I'm representing, got the Seahawks, got the Bucs. I love both these teams. I thought both teams were playoff contenders coming this season. I had the Tampa winning 12 games, Seattle winning 10, but I had them both winning their division and making the playoffs. And I think it's very reasonable to see that happen. I think both these teams, this was a matchup we could see again in the playoffs, and we take my money. I want to see this game again, 100%. Just little notes. I think this game really came down to weapons on both sides. I think you really saw. I mean, first of all, before I get into that, I don't want to overshadow the game. Was a 38-35 game, so a high-scoring game. Generally, you would say all these defenses weren't playing. No, these defenses did play well. You just had so much great talent on both sides of the ball that, I mean, both teams, it was just overall, this was a special game. This is one of those games where you're like, man, this is why I love football. Even if it was a high scoring game, these defenses didn't play terrible. They were making plays, they were making stops. It's just when you have, I think, two of the best young receivers in the game, it changes everything. I mean, shout out JSN, who has everyone was kind of skeptical when they traded away DK, thinking, is this guy number one? He's a number one. One of the best receivers in football right now. He's so good. He's so talented. He knows how to get open. Phenomenal at running routes. Great hands. He looks so like a natural. And him and Donald have a great connection. And this overall team, I think this offense is really they're clicking on all cylinders. And like I said, Clint Kubiak is the son of Gary Kubiak is the offense coordinator there. He's a guy that's going to get a head coaching job at some point, whether it's next year or the year after that. It's he's going to, with the way he can call this offense, the way he's put his players into positions to look as great as they look, he is someone that's going to have head coaching offers eventually. And then for Tampa Bay, I'll sing it every single episode. Emeka Egbuka. Come on, guys. Like, I told everyone I knew going into the season. Actually, no. I kept it kind of close to my chest because I was not losing him in fantasy. And it's worked out tremendously for me. But I've been saying it since I started this podcast. That is your offensive rookie of the year, and he looks like a veteran receiver. He looks like one of the best receivers in football already, and he's a rookie. I think people forget he's a rookie. I actually have heard, I was listening to some stuff today before recording the podcast, and I forget what network or what analyst said it, but he said he personally forgets that Emeka's a rookie because he has that presence to him that he's so humble and respectful and focused and driven, and his hands are great, his routes are great. It's not often that you can go into college, grab a player, throw him into the offense, and they hit immediately. I mean, we've seen it in recent years. Some receivers to note that we've seen it with Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, two that come to mind. I'm specifically talking about like first round talents. I mean, maybe Devontae Smith, I'll put him in there. But most don't just pop off the screen like this. This just doesn't happen. I mean, you got some later round picks that will pop off like Puka does. But generally you don't see it like this. And it's so impressive. I mean, Baker already had Godwin and Mike Evans and Bucky and White in the backfield. And a reliable tight end, Cade Otton, even though it's just hard to get him involved with all the weapons. But then you now have McMillan that did pretty well last year. That's going to come back eventually. You got Shepard, who looks really nice with the Buccaneers. And then you got this kid. Man, so good. He's with the way he started the season, I mean, like I said, he's up there number-wise in, I think, top 5 of almost everything. I think, what is it? It's 5 games, 5 touchdowns, something like that. He's just a baller, straight up. He knows how to play football. And like I said, I'll be singing his praises as long as I can. He is so good. This is like, if I'm going to make it anywhere as an analyst, this is the first take that I made that I'm going to reference to for the rest of my life, saying this. I called this. I saw this, and this take takes me. Hopefully, will take me places, because this guy is insane. This guy is so good. But I mean, I don't want to just give him all the credit. I mean, this is the first game in NFL history where both quarterbacks in the game opposing each other completed 80% of their passes and over 350 yards. That shows you the point. And to think about, these two quarterbacks were on the same roster together in Carolina. And they didn't work out there. But think about this. Baker went and spent some time with Sean McVay. Darnold went and spent some time with Kyle Shanahan. Then Kevin O'Connell. Baker had a lot of influence from Liam Cohen. Now you look at these guys. It shows you coaching matters. These two guys were top picks the same year. These guys were highly touted. A lot of love for these two quarterbacks coming out of the draft. I mean, I'm watching it. I remember when these guys were drafted. There was a lot of criticism, but there was a lot of hope for both these guys, and their careers did not start how either of them expected, and it definitely at one point was not at all how they expected. Now look at them. I would say they're two of the best teams in the NFL right now. I mean, it's hard to argue they're not. I mean, yes, Seattle lost the game, but you can't tell me in a 3-point game that close with those two teams playing lights out, that if they met up 10 times, that it wouldn't go 50-50 each time. Like, these two teams are incredible. They're amazing. These are two teams that, like I said, I could see meeting in the playoffs later, and I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, they've really, like, these are teams that, like, with the way they're playing right now, they could represent the NFC. I mean, if you're really, like, if you're looking at, like, what they're able to do is so impressive. I mean, Baker constantly, like, they never lose hope with him. I don't care how much time on the clock you give him, he's like, let's go do it. And that is elite. That is an elite skill. That's a Mahomes-esque skill. That's a Brady-esque skill. Those are the ability to come back and put your team in a winning position, no matter how the time on the clock. You can't do it every time, but doing it more often than not is incredible. And then for Darnold, who people thought he was cast aside going to Carolina, able to come out. He had a phenomenal season last year, and people thought it was a fluke. They said, some people said he should stay with the Vikings. Some people said, man, the Vikings, they're just let him go. It was a fluke year. He's going to go to Seattle. Some people even said they downgraded from Geno to Darnold. Well, if you look at how the seasons turned out, it was not just an upgrade, but it was a really large upgrade. Geno's looking like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league right now, and Darnold is looking like one of the better quarterbacks in the league right now. So I want to give both teams a shout out. I want to give both teams plenty of love and say this, like, probably halfway through the season, I'm going to sit down and officially probably do my mid-season awards, my mid-season, like, playoff predictions after seeing how the season's turned out. And these are two guys that can really put themselves in a conversation for maybe MVP. I think Baker has a better chance because I think this offense runs through him a little more, but he could definitely have an MVP-like season. And Darnold, I'm not going to diss him. Not going to dismiss how great he's been either. I think Baker's a little more. As I described it yesterday to my family, my brother, my girl, I said, I think Seattle is a better coached team. I think I like how their defense is coached. I like how their offense is game planned. I think they were the better coached team. And I think you see it. I think everything's clicking, gelling a little better. While for the Bucs, I don't think everything gels perfectly, but I think they're a gritty team. They were the grittier team. They're a team that will lace up their bootstraps and say, let's go do this shit. And that is the difference maker of this game. That to me was the difference maker, was that even though one team I think was a little better coach, the Bucs weren't going to give up. Every time something maybe didn't go their way, they said they were going to make a play and make it happen. Like that Lavonte David interception near the end. Veteran player with a lot of grit, says, I'm going to make it happen. And then Baker puts them in a position to win. It was phenomenal. So I want to give these two teams a shout out. That is going to end this episode of the podcast. Episode 6 now? Wow. I guess I just want to say once again, it's been an honor doing this with you guys every week. I know the following isn't large right now, but I hope it keeps growing over time. Just don't be afraid to show your support. Like, subscribe, and thank you all for supporting me and making me part of your day. Once again, hopefully everyone can enjoy the rest of the week, and thank you. That's a W.